Yes, my beautiful souls, welcome to another edition of the Soul Surgery. This week, we will be using a slightly different deck. I think we've got the Aboriginal Ancestral deck, which is this one. So this will be coming up for our action cards. As you know, we keep in the middle and we're looking on the mundane, what's going on in the here and now. We use astrology for that. And then we're looking at which spiritual principles through the Kemetic spiritual science is currently activated and what could be affecting those specific areas in our life. My beautiful souls, don't forget to like and subscribe and share, my beautiful souls, if it resonates with you. Bless another soul, like, for that inspiration, be a spark. So with no further ado, let us go, my beautiful souls. We got two, let's go this way. Auset temple, sacred ceremony. And then we've got the goddess here called Serket, which is magical protection. She is the Scorpio goddess. If you could just see the Scorpio upon her head. There we go. And then let's go back to the Auset temple. So you probably hear me talk about Auset a lot. In this set, at this Auset temple, sacred ceremony. Before we get to the sacred ceremony, I'm going to talk about the principle of Auset, not necessarily as a goddess, someone you worship, blah, 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 but as a receiver of the moon energy. So you know, with the moon astrology effects, they say your psyche, your feelings, it's actually your psyche. It's the programming. So we're saying the things you've experienced in your life from childhood, past lives, blah, 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 everything that you've experienced growing up, these things imprint on you and form a personality, right? So Auset is also the goddess who restored her husband, right? Usa. So she has a restorative, transcendental aspect to her nature, hence the symbolism of water, and water being something that can heal and purify, right? So the temple aspect is like, you are the temple and you are also Auset. She represents the soul, right? So we can say that this universe was created in a number of steps. Number 9 was the stage where you could say was your 7th day of creation, my beautiful souls. God rested, everything is complete. So she represents the soul's ability to pull all the aspects, all those underlying aspects of us, so we could say our cells, our molecules, all of these things into a beautiful package called the human being. Just like how the package of an animal is created, and then the package of vegetation is all just programmings that packet specific life forms to operate in under a certain system. And we are the humans, right? We have our own human system. So Auset being transcendence, being regeneration, the Auset temple, with your the body is the temple, right? Is saying that this is initiation, my beautiful souls. Let's go a bit closer, you can see. Yeah, it's like you're walking through these different gates. So in ancient, I think it's in the Tower of Saqqara, or the Temple of Saqqara, right? In ancient Kemet, they have, if you're into the tarot, you'll see that the tarot has 21 keys. 21, 22, 21, 22 major cards, Atu cards, right? Those Atu cards actually show you the descent, the descent of life. So how we came from a conscious entity into the numerous amount of things on this earth. So there's a densification of the energies, right, guided by this creative force. So it shows you that right, when it's linked back to the tree of life. And then it also shows you from number 12. So let's say like 0 to 1. 0 to 12 is showing you the descent, right? 12 to 21 is showing you the ascent. So how you reclaim back that divinity, how do you get to sit on the throne? It's a remembrance, remembering. That's the piecing back of Asar, who was chopped up into numerous different pieces. So we have to activate, let's say in the tree of life, it says there's like 11 faculties that we have within us that are dormant, right? Oh, they're not dormant. Let's say like 10, 9, 8, and 7, they're active. Your 6 is partially active. Everything else is a choice and conscious choice, but they have different octaves that they operate on, my beautiful souls. So initiation, what does initiation mean to you, my beautiful souls? What does it mean to initiation in this day and age has been whitewashed and watered down to the form of what we call baptism, or these little rituals of entering in a religion, right? That's not what actual initiation is, but it does represent a crossroad, a point that you're about to step over, so you're leaving something behind. So with initiation there does come letting go, right, which some people I suppose say as cleansing, and I suppose that's where the baptism they get the whole washing of the person, right? But there is a letting go, because there is an acknowledgement with Auset. She can only be Auset because she knows she is the wife of Osar. Only she could restore back her husband. So this is saying, like, for you also, and if you realize that Osar, Auset, all of the gods are you, then it's saying that you are responsibility for your own regeneration, right? So it starts with your identity by identifying whom you are. Auset is the female counterpart of Osar. The name U is the creative spark, that spark or that release of energy that they say happened in the Big Bang, right? That what we would say is the consciousness saying its own name, a consciousness speaking a vibration, a sound that causes molecules to activate and move, right? And then, so it's this energy that you have within you to be your own creator, yourself, your own initiator, someone who is able to become the fullness of what they are. Do you know what I'm saying? So no, you're not a human. You are divine. You're having a human experience. You're a conscious being, and there's levels to your consciousness, especially if they've told us that we can only use 10%, my beautiful souls. So circuit is protection. If you know the story with Auset, right? People say that she invoked this goddess, and this goddess is the goddess of protection, Scorpios, all this kind of stuff. I'm gonna tell you, right, that the greatest power that Auset had, right, was to be able to manipulate the life force energy, right, with her psychic powers. This is now when we're talking about Circuit the Scorpio, right, my beautiful souls. This is one's ability to tap into the psychic resonance of their self and others, right? This works two ways. This can be good or bad, because it's coming up here as like an influence. So there is a need to either protect yourself, protect your mental, your psyche, your energies. So everything on the earth gives off a resonance, a psychic resonance, and that's where a lot of people feel that tap into that energy, and they can do like clairvoyance work and all that blah blah blah. It's not the highest, it's not spiritual power. Spiritual power is the underlying energy and the consciousness that moves that energy. So psychic resonance is so energy. Spiritual power predates, is pre psychic energy. So you can't get psychic energy if there ain't nothing that exists to give off that psychic energy. Be aware of the people you surround yourself with. Beware of their belief systems, right? Beware of these agreed on opinions that people tell you. They're very fatalistic, right? Because there's a way of life here, or there's a threat in your environment that needs to be safeguarded against, right? And I'm saying it's like, it's a vibration. So it might not be that you can see your enemies directly and they're coming at you with a pickaxe or whatever, or dropping little bombs on you. No, this is almost feels like a spiritual warfare, right? This is down to, if you believe that you are something that someone's told you, that now gives them a gateway into you, and you never know what energies are attached to a lower vibrational person, right? Because negative energies or negative beings or forces, whatever you want to class it as, right, like to cling to people with weak pranic life force energy. And this is because their life force, they're not operating. So either they lack sleep, they're too busy, they're not spiritually clean, their energy is not clean, the food that they're eating is toxic, the friendship that they keep is toxic, the things that they thought are toxic, there's no connection back to source, toxic. Like, so these individuals might be even unaware of the leeches or these energy vampires or these entities that are attached to them, right? So you and yourself have to be able to do the due diligence, trust your instincts right now, my beautiful soul, because both of these rule over your instinct, your intuition. A set rules is with a Tahuti intuition via the moon energy, right? And the circuit, like I already told you, is the psychic energy. This is magical protection. So you have a way to protect yourself through your psychic pranic defense aura. But like I said, unless you are living optimally, consciously, cleanly, healthy, right? Unfortunately, there's going to be holes in your magical protection. This is why people get sick, right, and suffer certain diseases is because the psychic resonance, the pranic force, just like how the earth has its whole electromagnetism or its ionosphere around it, we are the same, right, my beautiful souls. So if the ionosphere or whatever protects us from the universe, right, was to deplete altogether the ozone layer, deplete the ionosphere, everything. So everything was just coming through us, right? So we know meteoroids, they do come through, but there's energies. If these energies weren't diluted or translated through the earth, just like how we translate through as a black man, through our melanin, taking the solar rays, not just so we can feel like, protected from the sun, but we take in there's different rays that affect the pineal gland, cerebral cortex, third eye, bam, my beautiful souls. So that is why we're saying there's a need here to protect. So set up a little space if you need to. Some people might not be able to, what's the word? Some people might like to physically like do something. So me, I'm a more of a conscious individual. I like to, chant words internally. Everything I do is internal. But there are some people that like to have an altar. Do you know what I'm saying? Something that they can reach and touch to that might be beneficial for y'all. To have some sort of a routine cleansing ritual. So this ain't a ritual to appease the gods and blah blah blah. If you are going to call on Auset, then you are activating that's a fair 9 in you. You're activating your transcendental nature, your trance nature, your mediumistic abilities, your fluidity, your emotions, your feelings, the walla dynamics within yourself, right? And the same with circuit. You're not activating these people to call them and pray them and tell them to do the shit for you. You are invoking them in order for that part of your being or of your nature to step online and handle what needs to be handled, my beautiful souls. So let's go. Ooh, let's see. Right, what's going on astrologically right now in this realm with everything? Ooh, friendships, independence, lust. Oh, we got 2 moon energies here as well. So definitely the energy of security, the energy of home, lineage, the way you think, my beautiful souls, even about sometimes money, and then we've got Venus, which is the love, creativity, all of that kind of energy in Aries. So she's in detriment, right? She just came out of that energy. Lust. Do you know what this is all feeling like? I want to break it down like to say, okay, first house is self, right? The 11th house is you could say the good spirit. So this is literally friendship groups, your wish that you are trying to achieve, and the 4th house is home, right? Home, legacy, stuff within the soil or within the earth, blah blah blah, natural resources. So I don't want to get lost there for some reason, because I'm getting that vibes that for some of y'all, your sexual energy is online. You are unapologetic, or you're going to be unapologetic about what you want. Venus is the energy that she's quite balanced, or we would say she's warm, right? Where you have somewhere like Saturn is cold and dry, and then you have somewhere like Mars who is hot and dry, the sun hot and dry, right? You have, if everyone else fits into that energy except for Venus, she fits into a calm energy, a neutralizing energy. If you're too cold, she will warm you. If you're too hot, she will cool you, right? So when she goes into her opposite of Aries, that's in hot and dry. Her energies are amplified. She's more daring, more courageous, more self-focused, where Venus is very, through Libra, and Taurus is very focused on what they can provide for other people in that essence. So I'm getting the essence right now that there is a self-awakening of someone's sexuality or their sexual desires or their passions, what they desire in life, right? I'm not going to limit it just to that, right? Because obviously Aries is enterprising, so you could take this creative energy, and it ain't about making babies or getting intimate. It's about getting intimate with a gift or a passion that you have, and not being doubtful anymore, like whether you have the skill or whether you're worthy to do this or worthy for the success. This would be like, I don't care. You see this volcano releasing, this is you releasing pent up frustration or pent up, what's the word, energy, passions, love. It's all been pent up, and now it's like the volcano releases. So it's like it's gotta go somewhere. Obviously don't cause no damage, my beautiful souls, because the earth itself is super energized. We've got CMEs, coronal mass ejections, and I think it is on equinox it happened, and solar flares, right? Solar winds. So these things have been bombarding the earth, and they affect the earth geosciences, or the earth's energy, right? So right now I know the ionosphere and all the spheres, the energy spheres of the earth are activated, my beautiful soul. So that will affect y'all, right? Some of y'all might feel tired, might feel drained, so might feel overstimulated. Remember, right? Mars, the ruler of Aries, is inside Pisces, right? Very sensitive realm, right? So we can feel everything, and his move is like the energy to take action on something is there, especially if it's close to your heart. And then also remember that he's going to enter April. In April, he's going to enter Aries, his own sign. His things are going to heal up. Independence. Some of y'all might be walking. You see this moon in Aquarius, right? You can't really. This is a somewhat kind of a cold moon, right? This astrology as well. If you're interested in astrology, this is a good time to follow the stars, my beautiful souls. See how can you create a routine that's in alignment. Can your idea or your gift or your passion or your dream that you're trying to achieve, could you align that with the universe? Could you understand destiny and purpose through your natal chart? So knowing when you was born and the cycles that we're in now, how does this all correlate? Right? Is the universe actually aligning to make you successful? I think so. This is what it's saying. But unless you know this consciously, you can't harness the work that needs to be done every single month, because it'll be slightly different, right? But on the deeper level, independent, this moon here is like, this is not someone who can be tricked with feeling and sensation, right? So I think this is what's happened before. Someone or people have held back, and it's been through emotional manipulation or too much empathy, or empathy that is really sympathy. So it's not really empathy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so something about the sensations or the feelings or the psychic energies which triggers the emotions and the feelings has made you settle for less than what you actually would normally. And this is where this Aquarius energy, the rebel break free, is like, don't put me in. It's like, this is the emotions, this is the feeling, the sensual side, but the Aquarius side is like, no, I disconnect that. Being ruled by Saturn, being ruled by Uranus, I'm not going to sit in my emotions. I can actually think my way out of this. I can understand my way out of this. Do you know what I'm saying, my beautiful souls? And then, yeah, this is what I think you really want. You're trying to come home, the moon in Cancer and domicile, right? It's like you are trying to build a family. You don't want the lust, right? You don't want to necessarily be out here on your own, but you're not going to settle for anything that is less than what you currently, is less than how you currently see yourself. So in the past, you might have accepted someone, or you might have worked with someone, gave them many opportunities and chances and all of these kind of things, right? For whatever reasons, or however you justify that to yourself at the detriment of your own protection. You need to protect yourself, right? So your temple, your sacred temple is now become, well, it's not sacred no more. It's like you sacrificed, but your sacrifice is not sacred. So you're not achieving or getting, and you're definitely not winning no strikes for this. Do you know what I'm saying, my beautiful souls? Like, we only win strikes for walking truth. Whether that truth is hurtful or painful and all that, it becomes irrelevant, because when it's truth, we will endure. So I think this is what it's about. Turning lust, right, into, or seeing that there's attraction. Can you turn an attraction into a deeper friendship and family? Right? There has to be lust, attraction. Then there needs to be a friendship, right? And then maintain independence needs to still be maintained, right? You have two individuals that come together to form a partnership, right? And they together create something new, my beautiful souls. It cannot create nothing new if these two people become one, or one person is dictating to the other person, right? No, we need the essence of two conscious individuals sharing aspects of their selves, and that sharing of that aspects of their self creates a holisticness, my beautiful souls. So again, 11th house, foreign places, foreign people, could be travel, but it's like, it's more about focus on your ultimate wish, my beautiful souls, and being around people that support you, uplift you, even if they challenge you, as long as the challenge is so that you can grow and evolve, it's fine. It's not just a challenge for the sake of conflict's sake, right? Again, ancestry. Is there any ancestral patterns that you're breaking right now? Like, how did your mum date? How did your father date? How do you see your siblings dating? How does your friends date? We'll forget the friends for a minute, but yeah, that will come on the 11th. But do you know what I'm saying? Because there could be that energy that we've learned something of how to deal with people on an emotional, sensual level, sentiment level, which could come from our ancestry, my beautiful soul. So opportunity, maybe your ancestry has been restricted and conformed, like you have to fall in line, you know, go and get married, have children, 2.2.0 children, life. And maybe that wasn't for you. Maybe you don't want to live like that. Do you know what I'm saying, my beautiful souls? Maybe you have a whole complete different mindset of the world, and you know, if you refuse to be that. Ooh, look at that. Awakening. I told you. Suppressed. Look at that. This is what's upside down. So this is what we have been doing. We have been feeling suppressed, or we have suppressed ourselves. Self-suppression. This is very scorpionic in the essence. You know, there's oppression where someone can be opposing you, right? And boom. But then this self-suppression, this is a choice, my beautiful souls. So your awakening, right, actually has to mean that you have to fight your demons. So maybe this protection here is actually giving you insight to the inner demons that you carry, because people who are on the outside, who are demonic, right, they have no power. I'll tell you straight. They only have the power is depending on this. If we are not power, see how she's got this green aura around her, then the blue, right? What does that green represent to y'all, my beautiful souls? A sense of purity, fertility, right? Something that's worth protecting, right? In essence. And if you don't know your worth, you will settle for less. And then you're going to settle for less, get upset. That person will hurt you, violate, maybe whatever. Then you're going to get bitter. Then you're going to enter that bitterness into the world. And then the cycle continues. You're going to get another relationship. You're never going to commit to that person or show them the real love or the real you because you are bitter. Yeah, so this protection thing, this scorpionic energy works in so many ways. But if we just take the Scorpio as a new image for the phoenix, death and rebirth, my beautiful souls, transformation, right? The ability to run into something, get burnt by it. Now I know that this burns. I'm never running back into this thing again, right? So the awakening actually takes an acknowledgement of who you are, light and shadow, right? Because what's in the shadow is what you've neglected, right? So what have you neglected about your characteristic and your personality? What beliefs are you carrying? Fears? Are your fears valid? Or do your fears actually keep you protected, right? That's what, this is the thing. This is what it's saying. This awakening is back to this Auset aspect, your soul. And Auset is, she can't be tainted. She is most powerful, right? She's fully attached to the life force energy. She manipulates the life force energy. She won its name, right? And she also has the scorpionic psychic energy, right? She studied when her husband was murdered and killed. This woman studied and learned everything about the goddamn world. She became the mistress she became the priestess, the magician. Like, do you understand, my beautiful souls? This is the power you have. Don't sit down there in whatever situation you are in and accept it and be like, do you know what, bam. It's like I hear some people say, oh, you can never know God. It's beyond you. It's too, I'm like, whatever. They say there's some things in this world you're not meant to know. I don't believe in none of that BS. Right, my beautiful souls. Like, I believe every situation can be rectified or worked upon or left alone. If it's something that needs to be left alone, then there's no, I don't need to work it out. Do you know what I'm saying, my beautiful souls? So don't be content. Yeah, don't be content right now. Because if you are content, you cannot become the butterfly. You're stuck in the cocoon. So that is what the Great Awakening is. Who are you? What is the shaping factors of you? You hear me say all day long, right? We are gods. We are Netarus, right? What are you? Why have you suppressed aspects of yourself, whether that be your desire for a family, a home, your sexuality, or your spiritual belief system, because that's very important with this Auset stuff here. Why have you conformed? So this is actually what it is, and this is probably why the awakening hurts, because you've actually realized it's got nothing to do with the external world in one sense, right? The external world gonna be the chaos that it is, but we have to be able to face that in the most authentic way. So we've realized sometimes when we do shadow work that a lot of the things that we suffer from, or how the things that we neglect, or not the things that we haven't achieved yet, or that we want, we realize that some of this inhibition is because we have accepted the inhibition. We've accepted the lies of our fears and our doubts and our insecurities. We've accepted it. So we now have something called guilt, and then we don't want to face that guilt. And I just think it's, again, all of it is just all illusion, my beautiful souls, right? Nothing will detract from the fact that you are a conscious being. And as a conscious being, you have the ability, your natural state is peace. No, you have the ability to know all things, right? Which means you're a creative force, which means you can spark anything and make anything happen, right? Within limits. Then you have energy, my beautiful soul. That's the human, right? You have energy. And this energy in its most truest of state is stillness, is peace, right? So you already have, your natural state is peace, is order. And from that is where you get the essence of joy, right? Happiness, my beautiful souls. So you don't have to sit in the pain of your emotions, right? You don't have to sit in that lower vibrational energy. You don't have to identify with your feelings and that, my beautiful souls. That's what I'm trying to say. You are so much more than that energy at the moment. So accepting makes you small, makes you limited. It depletes you. It also robs you of the abundance of the world. I keep saying there's abundance to be had, but unless we know we're abundant and that the universe is abundant, we stay suppressed. We suppress the universe. The universe is expanding. The earth is coming alive. Her energy is amplified. So what are we doing, my beautiful souls? And on that note, I'm going to call it there. So, my beautiful souls, let me know how it resonates. If you leave the messages leave a message and then I will get back to you, my beautiful souls. Catch me, if you're interested in TikTok, I do Earth Speaks on Tuesdays every week. That just gives you a collective oracle reading of the Earth's vibrational energies and what she wants us to know. That right now, this is more universal. If you're interested in personals, as you know, I do spiritual cultivation. I can look at your astrology. I can do oracle readings. But it's all about what is important in your life right now in the sense of your actual self, personal cultivation. So, my beautiful souls, House of New, I am Usar Furian, and this is Soul Surgery. Boom!